Hi everyone, welcome to Source Snack Break. I'm Ren with Source. Today is Wednesday, August 5th, kicking us off on our first manufacturer who donated to our library in Portland. I'm so excited. Before we get started, I'll explain a couple things about the webinar tool. So you're all muted automatically, but as you can see, you have access to that live chat there on the right, so you can pop in your favorite emoji to try it out. And you can also use the live chat to ask questions or comment, and we'll make sure we answer any questions you have, so bring it on. We'll also send you a recording of the webinar after the presentation, or you can check it out on our events page later if you need to send it to a friend or reference it later. Today's guest is Rachel with Spec Systems, and she's going to be chatting about Carvart, which is a glass system that we have installed in the process of installing in our new library in our conference rooms. So Rachel, hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Ren?
Doing well. Rachel and I were just chatting about how we have mutual friends in a tiny town in Alaska, because that's how Alaska works. We all know each other. So here we are. So can we talk a little bit about, can you tell us a little bit about your background and then a little bit about Carvart as a company?
Sure. So my background is really quick. I'm from a tiny town in Washington, and I went to high school in Washington, and then I moved to Europe and was there for about 15 years. And I've been back for a while. So I'm a graduate of University of Oslo and Edinburgh University. And that's when I really started liking architecture, actually, was kind of seeing how they mix the old and the new. Edinburgh in particular is very good at that. And then in 2014, I had been working with the former owners of Spec Systems and purchased it. And so that's history. And then I signed up.
There you are. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. So we're going to talk about Carvart. Can you tell us a little bit about Carvart as a company?
Yes. So I probably don't have all of the details, but I've met the owners, and they're a father and son ownership. And my understanding was they moved from somewhere in Eastern Europe, the Ukraine, to New York City in the 80s, possibly in about 1980. And I want to say that the father of the pair had been doing etching on people's doors in Brooklyn for decorative purposes, and then it kind of turned into a business, and they basically built this company up from nothing. And it's a family-owned business. And then since then, they employ a lot of very talented people, and there's a full staff of engineers and designers and sample people, and they have a big office in Manhattan right near Times Square. And it's an incredibly stylish company, and just the story is really, really neat.
Yeah.
That worked out for them, and they're very talented people. So
yes.
The two of them. Oh, yeah.
I love it. Okay, so let's get into it. There are so many things you can do with Carvart. I think sometimes people think of them as a glass company, but can you sort of briefly touch on like all the different things you could do with Carvart?
Yes. So the thing that really differentiates Carvart, I think, from other glass manufacturers is that they are not just a glass manufacturer. They're sort of a glass solutions facility-wide type of company, and that's because they provide the hardware and all the things you need for that system. So you don't have to pick a glass and then pick other things to go with it. They have options that work and are integrated with the product. So the things that you can do, what can't you do with Carvart? Most systems they have bathroom partitions, and I do have a little mock-up here we can look at in a minute. And then they've got lockers, and they've got office fronts, which are kind of demountable types of office fronts. And they have various mobile partitions, sort of like walls and things like that, that can actually move and be transitioned during the day to create a different space, which is really nice. And they also, of course, make glass. So essentially just about anything you want to do with glass they can do, and it can work with any of their systems. But yeah, bathrooms, lockers, office fronts. They also have sort of furniture things that would go with furniture, like tabletops, glass boards, and that kind of thing. And then more recently, they have glass shield collection, which is products that were designed during COVID-19, and they were very, very fast. And that's another reason why I mentioned how talented they are. They kind of read what's going on. And they came out with a glass shield product that has like a 1 to 2 week lead time. So if you own a store or something like that and you want protection for your employees or a lobby or anything like that, they came up with that months ago now.
Wow.
And it was really, really helpful. So they're very good at responding to the current needs of the end user and the desires of the designer and anticipating that really well. And it's the same with the bathroom doors. For gender inclusive types of bathrooms, they had come up with the enclosed system, which is a system that's very, very difficult. You can't really see. It's got no cracks type of thing, and it can be full height. And I don't have a sample of it now. This is the latest bathroom partition mock-up, but they don't have the touchless door on it yet. That just came out last week. So essentially you'd be able to hold your hand here and the door will open.
I love that, like magic.
Yeah, it's also in response to COVID. So they're very aware of what people want and responding quickly. They also have glass railings in that kind of an article as well. These are glueless and do not require a top piece. So that's really great for your visual. Some districts don't allow it, but many do. So, and because a lot of the products are made in Europe, not all of them, but some of them, they're all very good for retrofits, because a lot of like this, for example, because it's glueless and it has various features where you can adjust it afterward. If you're working with imperfect conditions, and even in new buildings you are sometimes too, you can actually adjust things later if they're not straight, which is one of the hazards of ordering glass, because it's not like a piece of wood where you can just kind of like cut a little. Exactly. So they've kind of thought of everything.
Yeah, let's look at all the little mock-ups that you have, the little like American Girl doll sized things, which I love.
Yeah, we keep all kinds of fun stuff in here at the office.
I love it.
So this is actually, they do have a phenolic line as well. And one of the things designers do is they will use the phenolic product for the interiors of the bathrooms and then do the glass on the outside if they have a VE situation. But I'm showing this side of the locker because there's a lot of features that you can order. So shoes, dividers, other spots. There's all different cubbies you can order, or even full length to hang things. Any type of lock can work. There's keys, there's combinations, or you can use another vendor's lock. And then this one, this is the enclosed system, and it's very nice. It has a very nice closure on it. But this can be, typically people order this for being like a full height bathroom partition, but you can actually order any size you want. It could be smaller than that. They have different systems. This isn't the only one, but this is kind of the new sleekest one. And they also actually have a new locker that doesn't even have anything on it. It's just completely smooth with no hinges or anything. And that's kind of part of why people like it so much, is because it really just looks completely monolithic. There's no hinges, there's nothing showing, and it's it creates a lot of privacy. So they are into making the bathroom experience like a luxury stop. And
I say amen to that.
No, a lot of people base their trips and their outings on where they are, like, they'll decide to go somewhere because the bathroom is nicer.
Yes.
No, I do. So it's something that restaurants and bars and hotels and things are thinking more about. So.
Well, and you come from Europe. You've been in Europe where they have the full height bathrooms, and then you come back to America and you're like, why can't we have these?
Yes, and why can't they
be pretty
between every use?
Yeah. So can you chat a little bit about, if a designer is working with you on one of these systems, what are the things they get to pick out? Do they get to pick out the glass, the type, the color, any etching? Like, how sort of wacky can they get?
They can pretty much do whatever they want. So that's the hard thing. So they are very good with their literature, so they have a lot of materials to choose from. But this, I'm just going to show you, this is just an example. So these are like a tiny number of the standard colors and finishes. So they specialize in, essentially you choose the core and the color, and then either pattern or metallic. There's also textiles, interlayers, there's wood interlayers, and they also have this very neat one called Covert, which is kind of a two-way mirror, or a one-way mirror, only you can adjust both sides. So You can make it so that when the light's on in one room, it's totally see-through, and then if not, it's reflective. And you can do custom graphics as well. So, and the way that you can achieve the different look can also be with opacity or transparency, and they do that through various types of frits. So, for example, you can see how it's clearer, and you can adjust how you want that. You can also do it with a frit, which is kind of more, a little bit more normal. So if you want like 3 or 4 feet up, you want it to be completely opaque and completely transparent at both ends, and whatever gradation you want, you can choose. And one of the good, so they do have a standard sample pack that you guys have, and we have smaller versions of it for people that want that in their own office. But when you are choosing, let's say you take the sample box and you're just kind of layering the glass on top of it itself, how you essentially will take like a color or something, or you can choose a color from their list, or any Pantone color, any color that you like, and then you can sort of layer the different glasses. So you can say, okay, I want this color with this texture and this opacity, or this, transition that you want. And you layer them, and you can describe it, and they'll make the sample for you. And it doesn't really take that long. So, and then it will come in a beautiful little box, because everything they do is very stylish. And you get something like this. They can also change any of their standard patterns, because they do have a lot of standard things. It's not all custom, but they will do it. Well, there's also, I forgot to mention textured glass. They're meant to sort of layer and to sort of have all the different pieces and components there to layer them, and then you kind of order it that way. And if it's not quite what you want, you can send a picture or say, I would like it like this, but I want this part added, and they'll do it. And most of their products are tempered and laminated, and they usually want to know what's the purpose of the glass, because certain interlayers may not be appropriate for every environment. So they just want to make sure you don't go down a rabbit hole and then find out, oh, can't use this at a swimming pool.
Right.
Whatever the case may be. Yeah.
So basically what designers can do is they can make like a glass sandwich of different opacities and colors and textures, and then apply it to things.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay.
Whenever I bring out the bigger sample box and spread them around the table, people just ooh and ah, and they just start holding them. They're like, can I have this? Because they are so beautiful. And they can also change like the sizes of the pattern. So this happens to be an etch, because you can use a frit, or you can use etching to change the opacity or to create a pattern. And they can take any of the standards and make them bigger or smaller. And that also gives it a custom look, even though it's not custom.
Yeah. Can you explain the difference between a frit and a sandblast and the other thing you mentioned?
Oh, the etching?
Yeah. Like what is the difference, and why would a designer choose one or the other?
Well, so I'm going to see if you can see this. This is the frit. I'm going to go really close there, and you can see the interlayer, which functions as part of the, because this glass is laminated and tempered. The frit actually does something to create stability for the glass, but it also, it's sandwiched between the two pieces, and that's what gives it the look. So this could be a solid color. It could be a semi-transparent piece that's giving it color, like, for lack of a better term, like a red saran wrap kind of look. It would be inside and completely smooth, and that would create the color, and that would be the frit. And then the etching, I haven't heard them use the term sandblasting. I don't know if they etch with sandblasting or what, but that is actually how they do. They use a machine to kind of etch the tiny surface of the glass off, and that creates this kind of look. And I'll try and get closer with that.
Yeah.
Do that. And then, sometimes it can be quite delicate as well, like this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and the interesting thing is I can see you, but you probably can't see me.
I can't see you.
I'm with the Covert glass, so I don't know if that.
Yeah.
See that, but it's kind of. So from one side it looks turquoise, and that's the other thing. The one-way or mirror doesn't actually have to be regular mirror. It can have a nice color to it as well, which is cool. So those are kind of the different ways, and to create like a pattern. The frit wouldn't have to be even transitional the way this one was. It could be an image or anything else.
Cool.
Yeah, and you'll want to be aware when you specify anything that's etched that fingerprints and stuff get on it, and it has a tendency to get a little bit dirty. So it depends on where you're thinking about using it. but it is very beautiful. So a lot of people like it. And I have suggested to some designers, if they want the etched look, that they can put another piece of glass over top of the etching. And no one's really done that so far because it does add more to the cost. But and that is the other thing, that they will want to know the application so they can gauge the thickness, like how many layers of glass or what size pieces on each side of the interlayer, if that's what you're using. So,
Got it.
And the other thing I should mention is that you can have, in order to create a color with glass, it doesn't have to be with an interlayer, it can be with back painting. So like this is kind of a metallic piece that's back painted with this kind of bronze color. And you can see that the view is, so how they have all this set up kind of in such a way, I don't know if you can see that, but it's basically the color, the view, and then it will have like the max size. And the view here is O for opaque because you can't see through.
Got it.
Yeah, but the transparencies will be like T1, T2, T3, T4, and it kind of goes up. And you could have that on top of here to give it more of a milky look if that's what you wanted. So, and that's what's fun about the layering, because you could take another one of those pieces, put it on here, and see what it would look like, and then know, do I want to order that sample or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I see that they include like all the hardware, which we've talked about, and they do some cool custom stuff. What are you seeing in terms of trends of what are people doing with glass that they maybe haven't before, or what are you seeing in terms of like cool stuff with glass?
Well, I've been asked a lot about, so they also have an XL glass product. So it's like very large pieces of glass that can be used as features. So you might be familiar like with the big glass piece that's at the Ted Stevens Airport, for example.
In Alaska, my friends. Yes, I am very familiar. Yeah.
That wasn't theirs. That was there long before this whole thing started. But I guess the idea is that that's something I've been asked for is like, how big can your piece be and what can you do? And like, it gets to the point where they can make a piece of glass so large for a feature wall or something in a big building like that you don't even know how you get it there.
Right.
You have to have like the Air Force come and help you to move it. But that's one thing I've actually had people, and it may just be because they had launched this product last year and people are curious, but I have heard that. The other thing is, of course, bathroom partitions are getting to be more and more popular in glass. So we see a lot of requests for that. Traditionally, in the US, especially way over here on the West Coast, we don't see a lot of glass bathroom partitions. I can't even remember the last place. It's probably the Porter Hotel where we have the Carvart partitions in glass. Was the last place I saw a glass partition. So that's one spot. And then of course, the office partitions, instead of being that kind of 70s looking felted material that kind of moves around and gets stains on it, people are opting to use glass. And with the Carvart system, and it's actually more versatile than using something like that because it is heavier, but you can do other things with it. So with the glass cube and the glass post, you can actually have a piece here that you can move the shelves up and down. So like into the inside of the office, you could have shelves or drawers or whatever, and you can move them around. And traditional cubicle dividers don't hold anything really.
Right.
So that's kind of one of the things we're seeing. So yeah, I would say Carvart's making the Northwest even more stylish. Those are the things I hear a lot about.
Awesome. And so let's touch briefly, does it go on the exterior? Can there be exterior applications?
Well, yes, because I'm assuming you got this picture from the website.
I did.
Yeah. So we haven't had a lot of requests for this in the Pacific Northwest, so I'm not sure what the parameters are for this cladding system, but they can do it because they have.
And you do have those railings, right?
Yes, and that is exterior too. Yes. So these ones here, actually, you can see this I think exact one at their office, which by the way, if you're ever in either Chicago at the Mart, they've got a permanent office, I think on the 11th floor there. And then the railing is actually in Times Square. So they have the whole parapet treated there. And they love it when architects come up and they have every system that they have is in that office in Manhattan. So
awesome.
Literally every type of door. You could see the modular sink that has the water, soap, and air. You could see every one of these products. It's really neat. And they love people to come visit them. You'll have to wear a mask.
We can leave our homes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to see something installed locally, friends, you can head over to the library, which is being installed now. You can also reach out to Rachel right now and ask questions or get some information or get a sample in that cute box because it's so cute. Now I want one too.
They also have just beautiful literature. So they come out with things that are specific so you don't have to search through an entire book, but they have an entire book as well.
Right.
And just like a really, really nice products that are very easy, the materials very easy to understand and use. And I'm always here available. I'm kind of lonely like everybody else, so I would love it if someone would call me.
Yeah, right. Sweet. Well, I think we don't have any questions. Designers, if you'd like to register for another snack break, you can smash that register now button. Tomorrow continues our theme of things that go in our new library, and tomorrow is our friend Rochelle with Cambria Quartz. So hope we'll see you there. In the meantime, thank you so much for chatting about Carvart. That was super interesting, and it was great to see you.
You too. I want to come see it when it's up.
I hope so.
Okay.
We'll see you. Okay, bye.